Hello students, welcome to the session. Today we are going to continue about the transistors. In previous session we have seen about the various modes and the parameters related to BJT. Now we are going to discuss about the leakage currents and how exactly we get the breakdowns in the transistors. So let us begin. So far we have discussed about BJT. Let's have a flashback. BJT is a bipolar device, that means holes and electrons, both of them decide the characteristic of the device. It is a transistor, that is 3-terminal device. It basically relies on the transfer of resistor from the input side to output side. We have discussed about it in the topic of transistor as an amplifier. And the third terminal, that is base, it is the controlling element. We give base current to control the output characteristic in normal conditions. So this is what we are doing about transistors. Now today what we will introduce about the breakdown of the device. If you observe this graph, this is output characteristic of a common ammeter configuration, where we have IC as the output current and on horizontal axis we have VCE, that is output voltage. We have discussed it up to the line, this line where you can read the breakdown. We have seen the three regions. Cut off, that is off condition. If we are using transistor as a switch, there are two basic important applications of transistor we have discussed. One is switch, another one is amplifier. In switch we need digital values, zeros and ones. Cutoff means off, the zero. Saturation means the maximum value in on condition. Both the regions are on and the transistor is working. We have cutoff, saturation. Active region is the region where we can operate the transistor as an amplifier. We have seen, and what we change the input base current from say 0 to 150 microampere in this example. But what happens when we keep on increasing the input voltage beyond the handling capacity of the device? Every device have a particular range. He can handle that particular voltage or current. Beyond that, he may get damaged. So what is that value? On horizontal axis, we increase the voltage, say 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on. But at particular limit, the voltage, if we exceed, there will be avalanche. About avalanche concept we have discussed in the diodes. There were two kind of breakdowns in diode. One was avalanche, another one was Zener. It occurs due to the multiplication of the electrons. If we keep on increasing the voltage, the electrons, they get higher amount of energy, they get more kinetic energy, they get more movement, and that fast movement bombards on the atoms of the material and they release more and more electrons, and they increase in the logic of multiplication, and multiplication gives rise to very high or tremendous amount of current in the circuit. We have discussed about it in the PN junction diode. If it happens, then what will happen? There will be abrupt increment in the current which cannot be handled by the device. That particular position will be called as breakdown. So along with these three regions, if we include breakdown, we can summarize the modes as given here. So if operation region, we have cutoff. In cutoff, input is very small and both the regions should be reverse bias. Reverse bias will make transistor off. We can consider transistor as two diodes, one after one. So if input side and output side is reverse bias, it will be open circuit. Open circuit means there is no connection. No connection, there is no flow of current. It is off. So input current is very small. In saturation, VC is very small. Current is high. VC decreases but current increases in saturation because both the regions are in forward condition. Input side is also forward bias, output side of transistor is also forward bias, and this particular mode can be considered as closed switch. This is a closed switch, that means circuit is on. Another region we have discussed, active or linear, where we use the moderate values. So we have combination, input side is forward bias, output side is reverse bias. We use it as linear amplifier. If breakdown occurs, VC is very large and everything goes beyond limits. So that particular overload can damage the device. So this is about breakdown mode. So about breakdown we will connect with our next topic. Before that, let us have a quiz question. Breakdown normally takes place due to avalanche multiplication of electrons, due to reduction of current, or due to forward bias. So your time starts now. You have to read it carefully and answer it in the comment. You have 1 minute. So I will put a timer here. Your time starts now. Okay, your time is now up. So the answer is due to avalanche multiplication of electrons. Breakdown takes place because of the avalanche. There will be a lot of gathering of electrons which cannot be handled. So this is about breakdown. Now another concept we have to discuss is about the leakage current. What is this leakage current and what are these ICBO and ICEO in a transistor? So let us understand it fold by fold. First, what is ICBO? It is the collector current with collector junction reverse bias and base open circuit. So here you can see we have a transistor, NPN transistor. We have 3 terminals, emitter, base and collector. In this you can observe that the output side is connected with the voltage source, but input side is open. So input side is not working. Input side there is no conduction. So only this part is connected, and this part, if you observe, it is only PN junction. It is collector side. So PN, one junction can be termed as a diode. It will follow the characteristic of diode here. So what happens in this particular condition? If we get a small amount of current due to minority carriers, that will be termed as ICEO. That is IC, the collector current when base is open, right? What is ICBO? It is collector current when base is open. Like this you have to remember it. Another term is ICEO. If we don't consider this part, this one is not connected. Now we will connect that collector current with collector junction reverse bias and emitter open circuited. Now what we are doing? Will make it reverse bias. So what is the long form of it? It is collector current when emitter is open. This is also collector current. This is also collector current. IC. BO stands for base open. EO stands for emitter open. Now let us see in detail about what are they. So we will compare the transistor circuit. We have PNP transistor now in this case. We can replace, we should practice with NPN as well as PNP transistor, so that in examination if they ask us about PNP, we should also be able to answer about PNP transistor. So this is a common base configuration because base is common for input side and output side. Emitter is input terminal, collector is output terminal, right? And input side, if you see PNP, so the middle one is N is connected to negative, and this is P, so P is connected to positive. So input side is forward bias and output side is reverse bias. If you see, this P is connected to negative and this N is connected to positive. Now when we observe the circuit, what is happening inside. So we have emitter base collector for PNP transistor. So we have the depletion region. This is one PN combination. This is another PN combination. Input side is forward bias. So we have less depletion layer here. Output side is reverse bias. We get higher depletion region. But there will be small amount of leakage current due to minority carriers. That leakage current we have to focus. What is that particular leakage current? We are terming it as ICBO and ICEO. So here all the currents along with leakage currents we can see in this diagram. P and P. P type, the majority carrier is holes. Everyone should remember it. N side electrons are majority carriers. So in P side majority are holes. P is represented for hole. This is say IP. In emitter side, this is emitter side current, this is collector side current, and the middle one is the base. This is common base configuration. So at input side, this is IPE. It means current due to holes. It is at higher level because the current due to holes is majority, and on which terminal E. So this current is IPE. This is the majority carrier current because of majority holes. And electrons are minority in P side, but they will also have small amount of current showed in the lower level. So I current due to N, that is negative due to electrons at emitter side. So we have IPE and INE. In few books this term can be different. Someone can call it as say IPE, or it can be related with the electrons or holes. But the logic is the majority current and minority current. Similarly, at this particular side, this side is related to collector. So here also current is flowing due to holes. The majority holes IP. Which side? Collector side. So it is C. Similarly, there will be the minority current. Now minority current plays more role at output side because it is reverse bias. And these minority carriers, at P side, who will be the minority carrier? If hole is majority, electron will be minority. So minority carrier electrons will go towards the base. Right. So here we get the two currents, IPCO, INCO. It is similar to our IBCO and the previous term what we have discussed. Now let us see in graphical mode how exactly they work. What we have to remember, if we are using PNP, the majority and minority we have to take care. In PNP, two P types and one N type. Then ICBO, that's what we are discussing. It is collector current. We have to see when base is open. Base is open means this part will not work, the input part. And what is this ICBO? This is combination of two small currents, IPCO and INCO. This one we have to focus. How exactly this particular part we are getting? At base we have majority electrons. Majority electrons are there and minority are the holes. So minority holes will get repelled due to another holes, but electrons will try to go toward the positive side, right? And hole, the minority carrier, will try to go toward the opposite side. So let us see how it works. So we have seen about the formation of NPN junction in unbiased condition. In unbiased condition we get the conduction of electrons. They gather around the junctions and they form immobile ions around the junction, right? These are the majority carriers. These are the majority carriers. What happens when we talk about, what we are talking about is minority carriers. Minority carriers are the opposite side. Like in N type, the majority you can see here are the electrons, the red with line. This minus sign is indicating the negative sign. But what are there? There are holes, minority holes, maybe 2 or 3, right? In middle part we have P type here. P type majority are the holes, these white balls. Empty balls are representing the holes. But there are still few minority carriers electrons. And in N type, another N type, again these holes are the minority carriers. There may be number 2 or 3, whatever may be their number, but their number will be very small compared to the majority carriers. Now let's have another question. Why is the reverse bias current of a PN junction diode small? The options are because the bias across the depletion region is small, because the current consists of minority carriers injected across the depletion region, because all the carriers recombine. So you have to put answers in the comment box. Your time starts now. What is reverse bias? How we get current? What is depletion region? Do we get any conduction in depletion region? No, there are the immobile ions. Do we get because the current consists minority carriers who can cross the barrier? Your time is up. The answer is the current consists of minority carriers injected across the depletion region. Depletion region is a wall. The further movement which can take place is due to the minority carriers. So PN junction diode is also using semiconductors. PNP or NPN transistor is also using the. Now here we can see the collector open transistor, that is input side of transistor is working. When collector is open, output side, say we have P and P here, right? So P and N, input side is working, and this NP is not working because collector side we are saying there is no connection. So in this condition, what is the performance of this particular transistor is similar to the diode, right? So normal majority currents will flow across this particular diode. What they will do, they will break the depletion region and they will flow across that. In reverse bias, the depletion region increases. In this particular case, what happens? When the voltage is exceeded beyond the capacity of this wall, this is depletion region potential. For silicon, this value is 0.7. We have to break this wall if we want conduction. When I will say it is on? When there will be flow of current. For that, these electrons should come, they should strike on this wall and they should break. When it is possible, when they get more energy compared to the energy of this wall or barrier. And if the value of this barrier is 0.7, so they should get more than 0.7, say 0.8 to break this wall. So once they get this particular energy, they break the wall and they flow across the device. So this can be compared with our diagram, this one. So we have majority currents in the condition when output side is off. Output side have no supply, so this part is not working, and input side is working forward bias, and the current will be due to due to this particular majority current, and there will be small minority current at this particular site, and output resistance will be infinity because it is off. So there is infinite resistance, means there is no conduction of current. Then now another side we will keep open. Now we will keep input side open. So left side we are taking as input, it is open. So if in this case now we are using NPN transistor, in the last example we were using PNP transistor. So P type and N type is working, right? And you can see the connection, they are reverse bias. Output side is normally corrected as reverse bias. In reverse bias, the depletion increases. This particular depletion region increases, so there will be more depletion region and there won't be any flow. But there are few minority carriers here. At N side, the holes are minority carriers. At P side, electrons are minority carriers. These electrons, the minority carriers, will form some amount of current, the minority current. So the first diagram which we have seen, where emitter is open and there is a PN junction connected in reverse bias. N is connected to positive, P is connected to negative. And there will be ICEO, that is the leakage current, right? So this is what we are talking about, the leakage current. Normally we consider it at reverse bias condition in output part when this emitter is open. Now let's see one more approach to understand the same concept. We have emitter based collector. P side, left side emitter is highly doped, so we are writing P plus. There are more holes injected. If it is NPN, N side will be more injected. So this is P plus, here we have P and in the middle we have N. Here holes are there, this will be the flow. Emitter side should pass on the current to the collector. So this majority are holes, so holes should pass. But what is happening at base, that we have to see. At base, if we focus it, if we zoom it, there will be hole movement from the base and few holes which are coming from p side. N side is electrons. So these holes will have a tendency to combine with the electron and settle themselves. So here there will be recombination of electrons and holes, and that will get attached at some place, right? So this is coming from the IE side, emitter side, forward bias side. What is happening from IC? We get the ICBO, the leakage current, which is traveling across the output side, and that will be the total base current. In base is at the middle. So from both sides, behavior we have to consider, how emitter side is working on it and how collector side is working on it. Let us have next question. Leakage current is due to dash carriers. Options are minority carriers, majority carriers, voltage, or none. So your time starts now. We have two currents, main current and the small current. Main current is of course due to majority carriers. What is leakage current? Is it small amount of current or heavy amount of current? Leakage is something which is unwanted. It should not exceed beyond the limit. Your time is up. The answer is due to minority carriers. Minority carriers will cause the current. Now let us have the mathematical relation between ICBO and ICEO. So collector current when base is open, collector current when emitter is open. The basic relation, emitter current will be divided. Emitter current will pass on to base and collector. So what will be the emitter current? It will be the total of IB plus IC, because same current IE is getting divided between IB and IC. So this one we have to remember, the basic relation, IE is equal to IB plus IC. Another relation, when we write it in terms of alphas, we have alpha is the gain. The first relation of alpha is equal to output by input. If we are talking about common base, so base is not part of direct terminal input and output. If base is common, we have emitter as input and collector as output. So alpha, if it is gain, it is output by input. So alpha will be equal to IC by IE. But if we consider the leakage current, we have to add ICBO, right? So from here, we can take this term, we can write it in another way, like this: alpha IB plus IC plus ICBO. Or same equation we can modify like this. We have another relation between alpha and beta. So finally, if we simplify this term, we get IC in this term. But if IB is 0, because base is open, so what we will get from here, ICO will be equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha of ICBO. Now this value we can keep as ICO in this equation. So we will get final expression as IC is equal to beta IB plus ICEO. This particular derivation you have to write down and post it in the assignment. That link will be shared after class, after some time. And the relation between alpha and beta is like this: beta is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha. We should also see the examples on this particular relation. Now let us have example. The first example, find the value of beta if alpha is 0.9, if alpha is 0.98, and if alpha is 0.99. So here you can see alpha value is always below 1. It is the amplification factor, and beta is the profit gain. So beta and alpha relation we know. So we have to see if it is range, if the range of alpha is between 0.9 to 0.99, how beta changes. So we just now we have seen the equation. The equation is beta is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha. So solution for this first part will be 0.9 by 1 minus 0.9. So it will be 9. For alpha is 0.9, beta is 9. If alpha is 0.98 in the second question, so beta will be equal to 49. And for third case, for 0.99, beta will be 99. So you can see the beta is changing from 9 to 99 for alpha's value between 0.9 to 0.99. Right. Now next question is similar. We have to calculate IE in a transistor for which beta is 50 and IB is 20 microampere. So we know IE. What is IE? IE is equal to, we know the relation between IE and IC. IE is equal to IB plus IB. If it is in terms of alpha, that also we know. So here we can see beta is 50, IB is 20 microampere. So that is 0.02 milliampere. We know beta is equal to IC by IB. So IC is equal to beta IB. So we can calculate the current IC. If we know IC, we know the basic relation. I is getting divided between IB and IC. So the total current here will be 1.02. Right. The next question. Alpha is related with common base configuration. Is it true or false? So far we have alpha and beta. There is also gamma. Alpha, beta and gamma, there are these three terms related to three configurations. We have three configurations: common emitter, common base and common collector. Your time starts now. Common emitter, common base and common collector, and alpha, beta and gamma are related with them. What is alpha? Is it related with common base configuration? Okay, your time is up. The answer is true. Alpha is related with common base configuration. Beta is related with common emitter configuration. So what is remaining? Common collector. Who will be related with common collector? Gamma. And all of them are output current by input current. Who is output for collector current, collector configuration? You have to check and you will get the answer. What is gamma is equal to? So likewise we have to remember the alpha, beta and gamma. Gamma is normally not given in any question, so we have not taken it so far. The third question, we have to find the alpha rating of the transistor shown in the figure. So we have to determine the value of IC using both alpha and beta ratings. So beta is given, it is 49. IE is given, IB is given. So we have a lot of data. We know the relation between alpha and beta. Alpha is equal to, if beta is equal to, so similarly alpha is equal to beta by 1 plus beta. So beta is 49. So alpha is 0.98. The value of IC, this particular current, we know the relation alpha is equal to IC by IE, and we know the beta relation, it is IC by IB. By using both relation we can find out the currents. Right. So like this you have to solve the examples. Now next important concept we have to discuss about is the DC and AC load line. So I think okay, we will see this concept. In previous session we have seen the DC load line. Now we have to see the DC load line. Transistor, it will be analyzed for DC as well as AC. Why like that? Signal is AC signal when it goes sinusoidal, up, down, up, down. DC is the digital logic. So how you have to remember, we have both the parts. We can use transistor for analog thing and as well as digital thing. Digital will work only on two values, zeros and ones, off and on. So 0 and 1, cutoff and saturation, the line will be related with DC. AC will be related with active region. It is related with the slope, because AC application is amplifier. So we can draw DC and AC both the load lines on the output characteristic of the transistor. It is something like this. These two lines and the graph. This graph you have to remember all the time, because next topic we are going to see about the JFET. JFET output characteristic will also be similar like this. We have to remember it. We have output current, we have output voltage, two axes, and input is continuously changing. We are changing the input and we are observing the output, right? So one DC load line we have seen in the previous session. Similarly, we can have AC load line, right? So this one we have to remember, and on this particular AC line, AC is related to alternating value, so we have to draw alternate representation. We get a DC load line if we have only DC biasing. DC biasing we get due to DC voltage sources. If you have battery DC voltage supply at input and output, you get DC load line only. But if you introduce some AC signal at the input, then that will give rise to the AC load line, because it is alternating, right? In same circuit of transistor, we can have the DC and AC load line. So this is something very important you have to remember. Then another way, now why this DC load line is sharp and why this is inclined like this. So AC load line is possible, it's combination of AC values continuously changing. It needs to store more values compared to DC. We use memory cards. Why we prefer memory cards of digital nature? Because they have to store only two values, zeros and ones. If we use analog memory storage, like the previous tape recorder cassettes, in that tape recorder cassette there were only 14 to 15 songs in both the sides. Why it was like that? Because every value of the song has to be recorded. It had to be recorded on that magnetic table. If you might have played with that cassette roll, it is meters long, and on a very lengthy sheet there were few songs only. But now in small memory card you get so many songs, because you need to store only two values in digital, zeros and ones. So here also for AC load line we need to consider all possible values of AC which are changing. So AC load line involves RC, that is the collector current, which should be connected to the parallel to the load resistance. So RC parallel to RL determines the AC. So Q point we can find for DC as well as AC, they can share it, but we can determine it with the DC that we have discussed in the previous session. So here we can see we have some common emitter configuration, and if we are giving a small AC signal along with our DC, so on our graph here we are taking input characteristics, say this graph, we can find out the Q point as described in previous session, and we can use the projection of lines. You might have studied in the engineering drawing, we are projecting the peak in positive, peak in negative from the Q point, and we are drawing one AC signal. And if we superimpose this particular projection on this horizontal line, we will get the voltage here. So here we will get the current which is projected with higher value. Here you can see the voltage is projected on this vertical line like this. These are smaller values. So voltage a smaller value here and current is higher value, right? So this slope for positive VB and minus VB we have to remember, and the term transconductance is related here with this slope. This slope, how output is changing with respect to change in the current, it is given by GM. So transconductance also you have to remember if it is asked in the short answers. So let us continue DC load line and the other parameters in next session. So have a good day till then.